Hey everyone. So I'm hoping to provide as much value as I possibly can to everybody here on the school platform. And I've had a lot of inquiries from clients of mine asking how to build the business credit. And even though I've had the course here on the platform, just the visual content itself wasn't really enough. So I wanted to put a video together here to explain the reason why I built it, how I built it, and kind of walk through it with everybody. Basically, I took one of my companies, which is my consulting business, a company that's been around for a handful of years at least, but there was no reason for me to ever build business credit with it. It doesn't have hardly any expenses, any debt, or anything like that within it. So I had no reason to build business credit, but I wanted to make a real life case study. So a handful of months ago, I decided to start from scratch with zero business credit and take that LLC and build business credit to the point where I could hopefully get excellent credit within, again, less than half a year anyway. And I was able to do that. I did take a little bit of a cheat, which I'll explain later, but I still want to walk you through the process, walk you through the course. So if you're watching this right now, hopefully you already found the class itself. But if for some reason this is on YouTube and it's a little short, just to explain where everybody is in the veteran business community here, just make sure you click on classrooms and then you're going to scroll down to how to build business credit. Go ahead and click on that bad boy. And really just starting at the top. One thing to realize is anytime you see these titles here that are bolded out that have a little arrow next to them, that means there's subchapters within this. So if you see that, make sure you click on that to unlock all the subchapters underneath. But just to go right down the line here in no particular order, there's an awesome video that I found on how to build business credit. And I wanted to start with that guy first. So this training video here, uh, this happy guy here, he actually has done the best job of anybody I've really seen recently to explain the different types of credit, personal credit, business credit, and what they all mean and how the banks evaluate them and what the actual SBSS score is, which we'll get into a little bit later, but it's actually unique to each financial institution. So watch that video. He does a great job explaining it. Uh, Getting into the building and leveraging credit. So here's kind of the agenda of Nav. Nav is a platform that you can use. They have a free version, and that's where I started with everything, where you can register your business, you can start monitoring your credit, building your credit, and they have other things too for business tools to include like profit and loss statements and some other things too. So I've actually started to use a platform. I like it. The free version is pretty good. I'm going to get into a little bit deeper on how I utilize them as well. But go ahead and watch their webinar. They have a good webinar explaining business credit, how it works, and everything like that. So go through there. Uh, and this one was put on by a guy. He's a SCORE mentor. He's been around a long time. He teaches a lot of financial classes. Not so much for us up here in New England, but down south. I think he's in Florida. And he basically put together a webinar on, when banks say no and what other alternative lending you can do and where else you can get credit or even capital to start and grow a brand new business if you don't already have the business credit. So when the banks tell you no because you don't have the credit, watch this webinar. He's got a good way to kind of get you to the point where you could eventually, hopefully, start to build more credit. Um, so just to go through part of the registration here, I don't know why that's popping up. I clicked on it by accident. Um, is to go through and get all your information, like going Dun and Bradstreet. Make sure you understand that you have to register that. You have to get a DUNS number. That's one of them. They're one of the reporting agencies. DNB is, or Dun and Bradstreet, is one of these where you need to have at least a couple credit lines reported, and we'll get more into that later. But in order to even show here, you need at least a couple of credit lines. So we'll get into that. So just starting out, I started out brand new scratch again. I had zero business credit. The only thing that happened once I registered my business and claimed my business in Nav here, this was back in March 2025. Oh, I got it up there on the top. March 2025. Once I claimed my business, the only thing they could really give me is this kind of overall general, not even like a score, not even a true business score. But you can go there, you can see the business report if you click on that. So the first thing I did is I wanted to find an organization or a vendor or supplier, whatever the case, that actually reports to the credit bureaus, specifically the business credit bureaus. I've been told that maybe 3% of all vendors and suppliers actually report. So you can be in business for 20 years. If you're not doing business with other vendors and suppliers that actually report to the business credit bureaus, then you're never going to build business credit. So I had picked one here, Quill, just because basically it's Staples. If anybody knows Staples, you can order any products through here. Make sure that with these accounts, make sure you're getting the business account, make sure you're using your EIN, and make sure that you're getting actual terms with them, like 30-day terms or whatever the case, because that's what's going to actually start reporting to these other agencies. So make sure that you can go in there, you place orders. Some have minimums, so be careful. You might have to put in like a minimum $100 order for them to report it to get started. But set up one, two, three, four, or five of these, whatever you can do. The more time you have, the easier it is to set these up, and the more they start reporting, the faster you start building credit. So I really started with that, and getting down to like the Dun & Bradstreet risk. So after I claimed my business, after I had set up my Quill account, I had gone through, I think I skipped one here. Hold on. Does it show? No, hold on. I thought I had one of my scores. Oh yeah, so here I'm backing up one. So sorry, I skipped too fast. But right here, you can see that after I finally claimed this and after I set up this account, I had a score of 42 out of 100, 100 being the best, one being the worst. So just by setting up my Quill account, I had gotten some positive credit with Experian, but I still didn't have enough for Dun & Bradstreet because you need at least 2 credit lines reporting. And I still wasn't able to sync up with an Equifax score at this point. But I'm on the way. I started to build business credit. So this is within the first 2 months. And then I signed up for the NAV, right? And I'm going to get into that next. But once I was able to get a couple reportings with the Quill, once I sent in a couple orders, it jumped my score from that 42 or whatever it was up to 87. Anything over 80 is considered excellent credit. So, again, just within a couple months, I was able to at least build that up, and I was able to sync up my Equifax here to get a 369, which there's still some things I have to dispute on here. There's some inaccurate information. This is probably the least important score to have. This is one of the last ones, the lowest runs ranking when they run your credit and look at you for loans or business credit or anything. So I'm not super concerned about that one, but nonetheless, I still want to work on it. So here's what I did. So this is my little cheat. So I had signed up through that NAV platform. I went on and grabbed a NAV card. And what this card does, it's a business card, but it also reports 2 different lines of credit to the credit bureaus. Now, there is a monthly fee with this. So this is where the cheat comes in. It's a $50 monthly service to sign up for this. You can use it as a business card. You can sync your bank account to it. You can run your business through this. It's great, but there is a monthly fee associated with it. So if you didn't want to do the cheat and accelerate and get the extra 2 lines, you could pick from any of those other people that report any other suppliers, vendors, and start building those up. I just didn't feel like going through all the extra applications and doing that. So I did a cheat, did this. Plus, they have other services I wanted to use anyway. So, but yeah, disclaimer, I did do that. But it wouldn't have taken any longer if I had just signed up for 2 more accounts with lines of credit anyway. It would have been the same thing. So after I started using that card here for a little bit, so now we're into June. So started in March, we're now in June. It's 3 months in. Again, I'm in about the same spot, but now I got the card activated. So now I'm just waiting for the next reporting cycle. And come July 3rd here, so again, just about 4 months into it, here's my overall credit reports. My Experian report is now 84 out of 100, which was kind of what it was before, but I finally got Dun & Bradstreet to get a report now that I had more than 2 credit lines. So with the positive credit now being reported there, because I have 3 active lines, I have a score of 80 out of 100. Again, anything over 80 is excellent. Equifax, again, it didn't change. I didn't do much with that yet. I'm going to work on still fixing that, but I'm not as concerned about the Equifax one. I did have to pay to get this SBSS score. And if you go back and watch that first video I talked about, this is a score that different lenders use, the SBA uses to see your credit worthiness. The caveat to this, though, is this score it gives you a general thing, but it won't tell you what your bank is going to evaluate it at, because with all the different credit reporting, like personal credit and business credit, All of that gets factored in, and banks are allowed to take all that credit reporting and they weigh each one differently. So some banks might weigh one higher than another one. So you could go to two different banks and have two different SBSS scores. But just realize that anything over 160 will qualify you for any like SBA type program. So as long as you can get this over 160, which is why I wanted to check, I paid to run this report. If you don't pay, I don't know a way that you can actually get this unless you actually applied to a bank, and then they'll Truth in Lending, they'll give you the information and let you know what your score was. Other than that, but I did pay just to see what the score was. But it's in a good spot. I'm happy with that. Obviously, can improve it, but that's that. And just from doing that, again, just 4 months, I built up all the lines of credit. I now have excellent credit. And even though it's one of my smaller businesses, actually, it's the smallest business, um, I was still able to get a lot of offers. So immediately they came out with like a $5,000 line of credit for my business and started to offer me things like these. And as you grow this, you can start to get even down to 0% interest for up to like 2 years on some loans. So as long as you have somewhere where you could put that capital and use other people's money in that time, and you think you're savvy enough to do it, this is a great way to build credit, to stop using your personal information. They'll stop pulling your personal credit when you start applying for business loans. They might do a soft pull. Banks, especially now, are doing soft pulls, but it's not going to hurt your credit because they're not doing hard pulls at least. And you can just use your business credit to get better scores, better rates, and not be whacking your personal credit every time you look for something. So that's really it. Hopefully that helped everybody. Let me know if you got any questions. You can always DM me within the school platform. I'm happy to help out. Other than that, good luck to you and stay safe. Take care now.